So I'm sure today y'all saw the news about what happened with Kaleb McGary and also the situation of Storm Norton. So we're in a bad situation as far as right tackle situations going. So it's a headache, man. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, so walk with me. So amidst of me coming to terms that Kaleb McGary might be out for possibly the entire season, I went looking at something from NFL draft from a few years ago. I know when we drafted Matthew Bergeron, he came out as a tackle, but we moved him to guard. So I went to go look at his draft eval, and something really intrigued me. Matthew Bergeron has real experience playing right tackle, and it's just more than a few games. He has at least a season's worth of playing offensive tackle on the right side. And you're probably asking, okay, if we move him to right tackle, who we're gonna have play left guard? And I have the answer for you in that video. His name is Joshua Gray. Josh is one of our UDFAs, and he didn't get to play much in the Detroit game because of the injury that happened, but he played most of the game against the Titans, and he was really good. And if he has another good game against Dallas later on this week, I really think there could be some conversations of, hey, we could put him at left guard and move Matthew Bergeron out there to right tackle. So I hope that's what they do. They should do it, in my opinion, but I think they're probably going to roll with, their depth pieces at that position before they, try to play musical chairs on the offensive line. So let's go and get to the film of why I think that could be a real option. So I want to look at his run stuff first because I'm more encouraged by his run snaps versus his pass snaps. And I'm not saying his pass snaps are bad, but there's one concern I have with it, and we'll get into that. And it kind of rears its head, in the runs from time to time, but we're going to show you. So they're going to be doing a jet sweep with Nick Nash, and he's coming from off the screen. So they're just going to be going right here, right? And one of the main things that you don't want to allow as an offensive lineman is to allow penetration by these guys, right? So typically what you'll do is you'll get even with them, but you'll kind of lock them out, if that makes sense. So his butt will be facing this way, if that makes sense. And he wouldn't let the guy get upfield and kind of just shield him, if that makes sense. Because it's an outside runner. He's an interior offensive lineman. So, you don't want to let him run upfield and kill the play before it even starts. You just want to let it string out, and that's kind of what he does here. So if we play it just a little bit, and you're going to see what I'm talking about, where his butt is facing towards the sideline and he's kind of locking him out in a sense from actually trying to make a play on this. And we get 6 yards on it, and this is a good play by Joshua Gray. All right, so this run right here is supposed to be hitting right down the hash, so that's exactly what happens when we score. Okay, so everybody's pretty much like a man block where everybody's blocking a certain guy, but you're gonna get a double team up to this linebacker right here, and it's more of the same stuff from the last clip where he's going to pretty much turn his butt towards the hole that is created and won't allow this defensive tackle to mess everything up, because a way he can mess this up is literally just went across his face and blow it up, because it is an inside hit and run. So you just lock him out from the inside and don't let him push you back, and that's exactly what happens. So we watch his play. You see once again, when this ball snap, he gets his hips turned around and he isn't allowing that guy to just push him back because he's anchoring down on him. And you see he can barely move him back. And it's a good job by Nate Carter, bouncing this one and then scoring. Because guess what? We also look where his initial path is right down the hash. He wants to hit right there. Hits a jump cut. And it could have allowed, and Joshua could have just given up right here, but he was holding on long enough to where that guy couldn't break free, and stopping him initially was what was the good part about this run. So I like it. All right, so this is arguably my favorite clip right here, because guess what we're doing, guys? We're doing everybody's favorite run from this system. That's the wide zone. Okay, so he has it's not a tough assignment, but he has to reach block this one technique, right? And so I've never really done the zone blocking stuff because everybody does it, everybody knows it because we run it. But this is basically what we're doing right here, where we're trying to get on the perimeter, and basically if there's any cutback lanes we're going to take, we want to cut back, if that makes sense, because that means the defense is over committing, and who's back here? It's probably nobody. So we're going to watch this play, and I love this rep from Josh, because look at this. So this ball is snapped. Look at this. He's pretty much taking this guy where he wants to go, right? He's not allowing any penetration. He's just riding him across the field and creates a very good cutback angle. And we bounce this run, and it probably would have held off if Dylan Drummond didn't hold. And you can see it right there. Got outside of his frame, holding on to him. And bro is mad at it, because he's like, bro, what the fuck going on? Like, bro, you didn't do anything wrong. It was the receiver, man. So you live with it, but elite rep from Josh right there. All right, so this run is another inside hit and run. So this is inside zone. So what we're getting here is double teams to the linebackers right here. Okay, and we're focusing right here, but this is another good rep But I will say he gets thrown to the ground, but by then he's already 3 to 4 yards down the field because we are on the 21-yard line right here. Okay. And so if we watch this run play through, he does a very good job of initially, hitting him and then driving him back. Now he has help driving this defensive tackle back, but look, by the time he gets thrown off, bro, we're already, look, the ball was right here at the 21. 1, 2, we're already 3 yards down the field, okay? And I'll take that as long as he's reestablishing the line of scrimmage. And he also gets thrown into the linebacker, right? And had it not been for Josh Simon getting absolutely walked down back into the running back, this is probably a good run to hit right behind them, because guess what? 52 locked out right here, and he can probably hit that right down and probably get at least 5 to 7 yards, okay? But Josh Simon messed his run up, but very good rep from Joshua Gray, even though he got tossed into the ground, albeit it was like 3 to 4 yards down the field. We'll take that. But you initially reset the line of scrimmage and you went from there. So good run, or good rep rather. All right, so now we're into the passing stuff, and like the main criticism I have for him as a pass protector is the fact that he's able to, he's allowing these guys to disengage really easily, and even though that happens, he's able to recover very well. So this isn't an example right here, but he almost, loses his grip on this guy. So if we watch it play through, okay, he gets his hands on, but however, that type of things happens where he gets outside of, or the defender gets outside of the frame pretty easily, but he gets help right here because James Williams runs into the defensive tackle, but he had help right there. But however, you see he was able to reestablish control and, good throw and catch. But even though he was, he almost got disengaged on, he recovered from it, and that's what I like it. And I honestly think it stems from him playing off balance, because if you watch this rep right here, even though he doesn't allow a pressure, but we're going to watch this beginning, he gets his hands on, or he catches this guy shifting back to a 3 technique, right? And he gets his hands on first. But if you watch the defensive tackle, bro, he's able to swipe him off, but once again he's able to recover. And if you look at his body, you can tell he's playing forward, if that makes sense. Like all of his body weight is like out in front of him, so he was able to just easily swipe his hands down. He almost fell. However, he's not nimble enough to just get around him, so he's able to recover. But once again, like, the recovery is what I like. And I think him being able to play more balance is coachable, okay? Also playing in the interior, it's a little bit easier to block because you have help on both sides. But he has to fix this balance issue because it could really mess us up. But albeit he still had a very good game on both aspects as far as pass protecting and run blocking. But that's one thing I'm noticing. Because then when we get to this rep right here, this is a perfect example of him playing on balance. So that's why I'm not as worried, because I've seen him play like on balance or within balance, if that makes sense. And I know he can do it consistently if he's able to do it right here. So once again, he gets his hands on, where the defensive tackle gets his hands on first, right? And he's able to control it just a little bit. But look, you see how he's not lunging and jumping out in front, and he tries to throw him by, but he's still able to reestablish positioning on him and not allow him to get through. Like, it's stuff like this where, okay, I have hope that he can get good or get better at this and potentially stay here long term, because it's stuff like this where, okay, the guy tries to disengage. He does disengage just a little bit, but he's able to reestablish control of the rep and win it, okay? So I'm not that worried about it. As long as he can play on balance, I think he'll be very good as a pass protector. I think he gave up like 7 sacks in college, and he played like 6 years, so that's very good. We have a high floor, I would say a low ceiling, but considering our position or our situation right here, I wouldn't be opposed to moving him to left guard and having Matthew Bergeron playing right tackle. I'm just really not opposed to it, and I think that's what we should do, because we have a viable left guard option who has shown he can be a very good stand-in replacement for Matthew Bergeron if you were to get hurt or in a situation like this where we got to play musical chairs. So, hey, I'm open to it. Now, as of the recording of this video, we still don't know how severe that injury is to Kaleb, and I'm honestly preparing for the worst based on what happened and where people said there was a group around him and he had to get carted off the field. So I'm assuming the worst happened to him. And with Storm Norton already being out, who was really a good backup for us, you can really assume that we're going to probably put Elijah Wilkinson right there at right tackle, and I'm not really for that, okay? Especially we have a guy like this who can play left guard, and we can kick out Matthew Bergeron out there to right tackle because he has experience playing it. Now, for all I know, this could be all for nothing, and Kaleb McGary has like a ankle sprain or something. He's gone for a few weeks, and he comes back, boom, and we'll be fine. But I still think we should just prepare for the worst based on what we were hearing. So This is probably my suggested scenario, even though they don't listen to me, they don't even know I exist. But this is just my 2 cents on the whole thing. If y'all did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more, because I will be uploading more stuff like this in the future. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.